everyone. My name is Ryan Garcia. This is Fireside Yankees. We're coming to you live here on the Fireside Yankees YouTube page and on the Twitter as well. If you guys are watching on YouTube, we'd really appreciate it if you guys chose to like and subscribe. And if you're watching on Twitter, hit the follow button, like, and retweet. We also have social media pages on our Facebook, our Instagram, and our TikTok. The handle is all the same. Now, the New York Yankees are coming off of a loss against the Phillies where they were leading 3-2. Entering the seventh inning, their bullpen comes in and gives up 9 runs, I believe it is. At least 9 earned. They gave up more than 9 runs. They gave up 10 runs, all of them earned. It was a really, really frustrating performance for the Yankees today. And look, we're going to talk about what is next for the Yankees after their acquisition of third baseman Ryan McMahon. This comes off the heels of a series loss in Toronto where defense was an issue for the Yankees. Defense was once again an issue for the Yankees tonight. I believe they committed an error in the fourth with Will Warren and an error in the seventh inning with Paul Goldschmidt, a throwing error. I'm not going to count that drop pop-up an error, but I will honestly place the majority of blame for tonight's game on the bullpen. And today, again, we're going to talk about the Yankees acquisition of Ryan McMahon, what I'm hearing across the industry, what the Yankees are going to do next after this acquisition of McMahon. And let's get started talking about Ryan McMahon. And look, I have a story coming out tomorrow morning talking about that acquisition. And the theme of that acquisition is the Yankees believe they have gotten better offensively at third by a significant margin, while also remaining defensively very strong. And when you talk about the Yankees and their situation as a roster right now, they need anything at third base that isn't Oswald Peraza offensively, although funnily the Yankees is, and I realize my mic is not, does not seem like a mic is the right one being used here. Sorry. With the way the situation is with the Yankees at the moment, they are going to need lots of bullpen support. And Ryan McMahon at least helps them with run prevention because those guys are going to be able to make the right defensive plays, convert out ground balls into outs, and then provide some semblance of offense. He is a roughly 90 OPS plus player. And in that vein, a 90 OPS plus player is fine enough. The Yankees have a 25 OPS plus player in Oswald Peraza. Yorbit Vivas has, I believe, a 60 OPS plus. So that is a pretty significant upgrade. And McMahon is one of the best defensive third basemen in the game. Now, am I a big fan of McMahon as a player who will become a star or take himself to a whole new level with the Yankees? I believe the lack of swing and miss is something that, or the excess of swing and miss is something that will be an issue for me. Not because I think strikeout hitters are bad, but because if you look at zone contact rates, those have gotten worse. This is a player in his 30s. His bat speed is up, which is encouraging, but I do wonder what his swing and miss will look like in Yankee Stadium away from Coors Field, where there are more favorable fastballs that are coming in for hitters because it doesn't ride as much. Now, McMahon has publicly spoken about the difficulties going from Coors Field to a normal ballpark with normal elevation, and it is scientifically proven that there is a Coors hangover effect that causes hitters to struggle on the road when they play a team on the road because they're going from this high elevation to normal elevation, and it causes some sort of negative effect on the athlete. So I think the road splits are a little bit exaggerated. I think that McMahon is being negatively affected by Coors on the road, if that makes sense. Now, with the Yankees in third base, they haven't figured out for the left-handed side. But it seems like the Yankees are interested in acquiring a right-handed infielder as well. Andy Martino linked the Yankees to Willie Castro, a utility man for the Minnesota Twins. And earlier in the summer, we reported here on EmpireSportsMedia.com that the New York Yankees displayed interest in acquiring Willie Castro and had trade conversations with the Minnesota Twins on Willie Castro last offseason. Now, the Twins were very interesting last offseason. They had involved themselves in multiple trade conversations that did not end up amounting into a trade. And the sell of the team seems to be a little bit of an interesting variable as they navigate through this year's trade deadline and as they navigated through last offseason. But Willie Castro being a rental indicates that he will likely be dealt from the Twins. And this season, Willie Castro has been an effective player. He has been a strong utility man for the Minnesota Twins. He has posted in an OPS plus above 115 on the season. Solid game power, better walk rates than last year, and a pretty versatile defensive player with a pull side swing that should work at Yankee Stadium. good against righties, good against lefties this year. That is a new trend for him. He has oftentimes struggled from the right-handed side against left-handed pitching. That is not the case currently for Castro. Again, Andy Martino first linking the Yankees to Castro. And here at EmpireSportsMedia.com, we reported that the Yankees had trade talks with the Twins regarding Castro this offseason. So I expect those conversations to continue. The Yankees and Minnesota Twins have engaged in various trade conversations. We're also reporting that. We have learned that here at EmpireSportsMedia.com. There is a variety of players whom the New York Yankees are interested in. And we'll talk about the one who obviously presents the biggest immediate upgrade for the Yankees, and that is with Yohan Duran. Now, Yohan Duran is kind of one of the headliners that we're going to talk about today because he is probably the most headline-grabbing player, the most notable player that the New York Yankees have not only displayed interest in, but have already had trade conversations with. So again, we have learned here at EmpireSportsMedia.com that the New York Yankees are also having trade conversations with the Twins. And with those conversations, Yohan Duran is one of the players who have come up. Yohan Duran is someone whom the Twins are hesitant to deal. We also reported that, and that was confirmed by The Athletic. Chris Kirshner of The Athletic threw that in his article linking the Yankees to Yohan Duran, and also mentioned that same very fact. They're hesitant. They're going to be hesitant to deal Duran this deadline. They do not feel like they're forced to trade him. The interpretation I've gotten of the situation is that the New York Yankees will pay top dollar for Yohan Duran, but the Minnesota Twins are going to charge a pretty egregious price relative to where most fans and GMs would pay because they are not of the opinion that they have to trade Duran. That if they do not trade Duran, they have for some reason missed out on his value, missed out on cashing in, or missed out on acquiring a big piece. They want what they want at the deadline. And if that ends up not being what the Yankees offer, they have no problem moving on, that being the Twins, holding on to Duran and going out to the situation. So I do want to address one thing here, scientifically proven. No, it is scientifically proven that there is a Coors hangover effect, not just specific to Coors, but there is a hangover effect from playing at higher altitudes versus not playing in higher altitudes. That when you go from those higher altitudes to those more normal altitudes, there is an effect on the human body. That is not how do I put it? It is not a variable that is just based on hearsay or stories from players or Ryan McMahon saying it's difficult. There is a scientifically proven effect that higher altitude has on your body, and there's a scientifically proven effect that your body will have reactions when moving away from those high altitudes for various points in times. And the Colorado Rockies go constantly from high to low altitude. So yes, changing altitudes frequently as an athlete is going to affect you. That is not hearsay. I'm unfortunately going to have to burst your bubble here, Lou. That is how the world works. That is how the baseball world works as well, because we have a team that plays in Colorado and teams that don't play in Colorado. Now, as it pertains to the situation with Yohan Duran, again, as I mentioned, Twins hesitant to deal him. Yankees have coveted Duran. They tried to trade you for Duran last summer. They tried very hard, didn't get that done, and they're going to revisit that. So, yeah, I want to sit here and point out with any trade conversation with the Twins, again, their hesitancy, their kind of weird effect here with the Yankees or with how they're going to navigate this market. But Willie Castro is someone who I expect them to move. Harrison Bader is someone I expect them to move. And I wonder if the Yankees display any sort of interest. And I'd also like to point out another player on the reliever side. Griffin Jax is a player I expect them to show interest in, and they've had trade talks with already. Now, Colum is a player being mentioned here. He is someone who the Athletic has linked to, who the Yankees have linked. The Athletic linked to Yankees to Danny Colum. I apologize. So yeah, that is the situation there. Yankees are going to be very, very it's going to be very interesting to see how the Yankees handle that situation. Yeah, so there is literature from Fangraphs that has detailed the Rockies really struggling on the road, and it not just being a situation that stems from their ballpark advantage. Because if you look at a team like Cincinnati Reds, who also have a disadvantage or have an advantage at home and a disadvantage on the road, there are things that affect Coors hitters on the road. That is proven. Fangraphs has talked about it. It's something that you can quantify. You can also look at the way that, you look at levels of altitude or the altitude levels in Coors. these are all things that affect an athlete. Like, I mean, I don't know how else to put it. It's how it works. I mean, I can't link stuff in the chat. I'm sure I could go into it at some point in the live stream, but I'm gonna get through all the stuff with what I know with the Yankees plans, and then I can circle back to that. Because I mean, I didn't think I'd have to prove that Coors has an effect on players and different altitude levels. So yeah, here's what we got going on. Some other teams to look at for the Yankees. One team that, I mean, I'm sorry, you have to look at it if you're a fan of what the Yankees are going to try and do. You've got the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pittsburgh Pirates have multiple players whom the New York Yankees have talked about. You have Mitch Keller, confirmed by Noah Hiles. He was the first one to kind of put that out there. David Bednar is someone who the Yankees like. The Athletic just linked the Yankees to Bednar recently. I believe that was as recent as that Kirshner article. And Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Now, I'm told specifically with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, the Yankees not only like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, but manager Aaron Boone absolutely loved having IKF there. That was not a media kind of lip service thing. He genuinely enjoyed having Isaiah Kiner-Falefa on the roster. He spoke highly of Kiner-Falefa to other people inside and outside the organization. So I expect that the Yankees are going to display some level of interest in him as a right-handed hitting infielder. He's not my favorite fit because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think he's going to provide you much offense against lefties. And while he is a good defensive player, yeah, I don't know. I just think that, you know, you could go out and get maybe a Willie Castro or just kind of go get pitching and focus all your assets on pitching at this point in time, now that you've gotten a third baseman. And as mentioned here by Devontae Adams-Burner, Aaron Boone just mentioned to the media that the New York Yankees will have Ryan McMahon, and he will debut tomorrow. So, again, Yankees, Twins, Pirates, those are the two teams to kind of look at right now because the Twins and the Pirates are the two teams whom the Yankees have had active conversations with regarding multiple players on the roster and could find themselves not just striking a deal for one player on that roster, but multiple. I've sat here and said the Yankees are a team who will be aggressive at this year's trade deadline. They are supposed to be one of the most aggressive by the signaling inside and outside the organization. Brian Cashman is already having trade conversations. He has had some very interesting trade conversations. And the final thing I'd like to know in regards to new stuff with Yohan Duran or with Griffin Jacks or with David Bednar, the Yankees are prioritizing preventing runs over scoring runs. They know they have a run prevention problem. They know that run prevention is their number one issue, that run scoring is not a problem for the New York Yankees, that they have been able to score runs all season. So that's that. And the final thing I'd like to note when it comes to run scoring and run prevention, Ryan McMahon is a massive upgrade in that regard. The New York Yankees have, I believe, a 105 OPS plus. When you subtract Aaron Judge from their offense, that would be the sixth highest mark in baseball. You put Ryan McMahon and you take away the Oswald Peraza and Yorbit Vivas at bats. That's a massive upgrade, guys. You cannot understate what it is to go from a guy who is, 10% worse than league average and have that player when you're coming from a combination of players who are about 40 to 50% worse than the league average. They're unplayable offensively. McMahon at least brings some intrinsic power to the bottom of the lineup. Look at someone like Anthony Volpe. He's going to run into some home runs. That's going to win you ball games. You're not going to win ball games with, Oswald Peraza and Yorbit Vivas being complete black holes for this offense. And again, McMahon, a brilliant defensive player. I'm told from people that are either A, would have this knowledge, or B, or are close to the organization. They believe that there is something to unlock in Ryan McMahon. And you talk to scouts, you talk to anyone with skin in the game, you'll hear people from other organizations say there has always been something to unlock with McMahon. I personally have never bought into that. I'm going to be honest, that's my personal opinion now. This is not journalism or reporting. My personal opinion has always been, I think it's kind of eyewash with Ryan McMahon. I think he's kind of that look good ball player who I'm not necessarily sure that guy's going to be a great ball player one day. I think he can settle into being solid, and he's been solid throughout his career. But I don't see that massive upside personally, just because I just haven't seen it. I haven't seen him play at that high of a level. But I am not a scout. I am not someone who you can sit here and look at and say, hey, this guy could work in Major League Baseball right now. The way I look at it with the Yankees, I think that they're going to be in an interesting spot with McMahon, and he's going to be a lot better than what they have right now. Now, I want to also look a little bit here. So, Sean Suchma, Suchma? I'm going to try and pronounce that better. But Sean, if you could let me know how to pronounce it in the comment section, we'll get to all these comments here. And appreciate you responding and giving us something to talk about. Yankees need to pair IKF and Bednar or Castro or Duran. They didn't move their big chips in the off sense because at least half of their hitters should be playing in Japan or Mexico. I think it's because I think you meant pitchers because their pitchers are bad. Their offense has been pretty good for the most part. Now, for the pitching staff, yeah, look, the Yankees, I think getting Duran and Castro or Bednar and IKF would be a huge lift, a huge boost. Obviously, the better package there is the Duran and Castro one in terms of immediately getting better, but you can't sit here and tell me that the other situation here wouldn't be great. And look, the Yankees are in a situation where the Yankees are going to need to improve that bullpen. And I think they want to get someone who can hit from the right-handed side for that infield. But I also think they want multiple relievers, and that acquiring multiple relievers should be a greater priority. So even if you wanted to talk about Willie Castro and Yohan Duran, they should go get Yohan Duran and Danny Collum. Like, that's what they should do. That's what they should do, if you ask me. Like, at this point, this bullpen is so bad. It is so disgusting. It is so gross. It is so bad. It is so unpleasant. It is so hard to watch. You cannot watch this bullpen and sit here and tell me that this group is going to be at all effective for the New York Yankees and that they are even remotely in a position where they can win in a postseason setting with that bullpen. This team is going nowhere with this bullpen. Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Where they'll go is outside the playoff picture. And I will say here, Jacob, I don't believe the Yankees will sell this deadline. Now, lineup prediction: Grisham, Rice, Judge, Jazz, Stanton, McMahon, Jason, Wells, Volpe. Look, I mean, you have a lineup now that you don't have that massive gaping black hole that absolutely sucks in Oswald Peraza or Yorbit Vivas. No disrespect to the player that is Oswald Peraza. No disrespect to the player that is Yorbit Vivas, but they're not very good at Major League Baseball. Ryan McMahon is about a 2 to 3 WAR player. That is a productive, everyday big leaguer. He is not a stud. He is not a star. He is solid. Yorbit Vivas and Oswald Peraza were definitely not that. So, yeah, mini tangent there, I guess. Yeah. Yankees need to prevent the Toronto Blue Jays from getting stronger. Yankees should get Joe Ryan. So, Brandon, I don't think the Yankees are going to end up with Joe Ryan. The Yankees, again, have talked a lot with the Twins, but I think the Twins are going to hold on to Joe Ryan. That is my understanding of that situation, that Joe Ryan is going to be very hard to get, and then it will take a team making a substantial offer to land him. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. What package would you give for Duran? It's going to be a lot. It's going to take a lot to get him. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be, all right, Bryce Cunningham, Elmer Rodriguez, Cruz, and Rafael Flores. It's not going to cut it. My understanding is that that's not going to cut it. It'll take more. It'll take more. It'll take maybe one of your top 3 prospects. It might take a Spencer Jones. It might take a Cam Schiller. That's what the Twins are looking for. The Twins are, again, not in a position where they feel like they have to trade Yohan Duran away like that. They don't feel like they have to just get rid of Duran this year or whatever. They feel like they can do whatever they need, and they can address this bullpen situation and trade away relievers who are rentals and trade away players who are rentals before they delve into those multi-year players. It's a little bit weird. It's like, you don't want to call them their core. I don't know how to call it. It's core. I don't want to say the core of your roster because Duran is a free agent 2 years after 2027. So 2 years after the end of the season. Can't really sit here and pretend like, hey, that guy's part of your core. They're probably going to trade him before the contract's up. But the contract ain't up yet. The contract ain't coming up yet. It's not done this year. It's not done next year. So, again, I personally see the Yankees as a team that will choose to, or the Twins as a team that will choose to hold on to these guys unless they're blown away. Do you prefer Keller or Edward Cabrera? I think Edward Cabrera is the better player. I think Mitch Keller is the guy who has a better chance of being a New York Yankee. We need 4 bullpen arms. Look, I think the Yankees believe that acquiring a starter will move someone to the bullpen, and that will help them. I also believe that the bullpen will get additions, and they need to do so as soon as humanly possible. That's what I'll say. But I think that they view adding a potential starter in the bullpen as an addition. And I don't say that to say IL deadline additions. I say it to say the Yankees are going to like they're going to have to like fill. They're going to have to like have a roster. You can only carry so many players. They will have an interesting question to answer there. I think that again, we'll see them choose to get like 2 guys and a starter. I think that is what we're looking at. I could be wrong. I could end up being wrong. Maybe they do a lot more. Maybe they start DFAing guys. That's also on the table. They don't have a lot of AAA depth for their bullpen, which kind of hurts them. I don't think Carlos Legrand is someone who they'd bring up this season to fill that kind of role. And, I've personally thought about, I'm like, man, wouldn't that be kind of sick? But I don't think that's going to happen for the Yankees. So I think that all of their options will have to be through the trade market, or will have to be external additions or moving starters to the bullpen. We do it for Schlittler. I thought you said, it without the L. I was going to be like, damn, that's mean. Look, I think there's an argument to be made. You should trade Cam Schlittler for Yohan Duran. I think there's an argument to be made for any prospect. Hey, should you trade this guy for Yohan freaking Duran? Not trading Grisham, whatever he get, worth more than his bat right now. I disagree. He's been awesome for this offense. He's been great. Got to win games this year. He's been better than Dominguez this year. Like, you can't sit here and try not to win games. Bednar, Helsley, Duran, Jax, those are the guys the Yankees should target for the one. I have no interest in Clase. I think Clase is better than Helsley. So yeah, I know you meant Penn. Sorry, my bad. I think Clase is better than Helsley, but I get it. Would you have any of Rice, Jason, or Jones off the table for Ryan? No. I'd think about all of them. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know if that's a situation where like I'm being a little bit of a psycho here. Maybe I'm being a little crazy. Maybe Yankee Land is like, no, I would never do that. But I'm doing it, man. I think Joe Ryan's a stud, and I think you need to think again. If your goal is to win the World Series, you need to make some big additions. I agree with you. Okay. My bad. My fault. I might have read that wrong. I don't want you to think it's not entirely your fault. I am also a terrible reader. So yeah. I agree. I think that the Yankees, they're in a situation where Grisham's too valuable right now. Unless, of course, they add a right-handed outfielder, which is possible, I guess. But I don't think like Willie Castro qualifies as that. I think that you would have to look at that as more of like a situation where you're looking at, I don't even know. I think you'd have to bring in like a Taylor Ward, right? Like Taylor Ward would have to be that guy. So yeah. Thought the Guardian said Clausio's off the table. It's weird. I don't think he's off the table. I have not heard he's off the table. I have seen it circulate in some circles, but my understanding is they'll listen and they are open to trading him if that's the situation. So yeah. I don't know if that conflicts with anything. I don't know if I'm wrong there. I don't know if maybe I got a bad scoop, but not under the opinion that they will not trade him if the right offer is there. Not saying it's 100% guaranteed, but yeah. Grisham in the outfield is not good lately. I do think he's better in left than center. I think Bellinger's a better defensive center fielder, but he's better than Dominguez is out there defensively. And that does matter. That does matter. So, yeah. Ryan, didn't know you're into hockey at all. I also had a great draft. Yeah. Look, I'm going to be honest. I am a casual Islanders fan. I am a casual. All I know is that every year we're going to win the Stanley Cup. That's all I think. That is my brain is I am a complete dummy fan with this stuff. And what I'll say with their situation is I thought they had a great draft. I thought they handled the offseason very well. And I think Isles Nation, we're here. Isles Country, let's ride. We're here. It'll be a beautiful. Sorry about that technical difficulty. Not Rangers. No, let's go Isles, baby. So look, with what we know with the Yankees, aggressive for bullpen support, run prevention. Where the heck is Yarbrough? Oh yeah, he's throwing off a mound soon. That's the latest on that from Aaron Boone, I believe. So yeah. The Yankees, I just put in this post out there. The Yankees will have Ryan McMahon make tomorrow. According to manager Aaron Boone. Boom. All right. Do I prefer Duran or Cade Smith? Yohan Duran, I think, is a safer bet and the more acquirable baseball player. If you ask the Ryan Garcia machine on this one, no one has ever called me the Ryan Garcia machine. When is Jake Cousins coming back? Hate to tell you this. He's hurt. He is hurt. He's going to be out for the whole year. Tommy John surgery. Looking forward to I cannot. You are not going to get me to pronounce this correctly. Shabanov. I know he's playing the KHL, but he's nasty there. If you haven't seen the highlights, I know they're definitely worth it. I've heard a lot of good things about him. Like, seen social media buzz around him. I thought he was going to go to the Flyers. Thought that was like the whole buzz. I was like, you know what? Not going to get him. But, he looks cool. And then he ended up signing with the Rangers, which is great. Man, do I miss Cousins? He was a dog in the ALCS. It is a true tragedy. Ryan, what do you think of Okert for Grish? They will need center field. They will need center fielders. We need left fielders. We need left-handed pitching. They need center fielders. Jesus, I'm so bad at reading today. I think the Astros would say no. How many years of control does Okert have? If Okert is a free agent at the end of the year, maybe this is something, but you think the Astros and the Yankees are going to make a trade? I haven't heard. Like, I'm just curious. Okert, I believe, has 2 years of control, so I think the Astros would say no. Yeah, I thought he was going to sign with the Flyers, and then when he signed with us, that was, man, a phenomenal day. I was at Hudson Valley when that happened, and I was sick. I really thought he was going to go to the Flyers. Totally thought he was going to go to the Flyers. Very happy he's not in the Flyers. Halverson of the Rockies throws gas. Yeah, he's great. I don't personally think that the Rockies are going to trade him to us. I'm not saying I don't think the Yankees like him or anything, but I haven't heard them attached to him. Again, I could be wrong there. And I'm not saying the Yankees are not interested, just that I have not heard anything. So I'm saying unsure because I don't have anything saying one way or another. So yeah, I'm going to sit here and say that the Yankees are they're going to shop for every reliever. They're shopping at the top of the reliever market, but I don't know if they will be acquiring Halverson at the moment. I was at the prospect scrimmage. That's all awesome. I'm so happy you're at the prospect scrimmage. I heard that was electric. So I'm kind of jealous and didn't get to go. Jason Schlittler, Hess, ERC, Riggio, Rice for Duran, Ryan. You know what's crazy? It's not too far off of that if you want to get both, I imagine. So yeah. Burner's regressing. Yeah, he's had his struggles, and that's definitely worth noting. Season's over. I don't think it is. Or at least I don't hope it is. I hope it ain't. Hope it ain't. Hope it ain't. Love the show, Ryan. Thank you, Shpee. Who do you see as the highest likelihood SP addition? There's been smoke with Mitch Keller, and I'd be on board with paying up, but we also need to spend resources on the bullpen. I would agree. I think the Yankees need to spend resources on the bullpen. We shall see. I'm not entirely sure if the Yankees are going to be in a situation where, they're going to be trading top of the top market for, or top of the top dollar for Mitch Keller. But I think they'll try. I think they like him. So yeah, I think they like him. I think, they want to trade with the Pirates because there are guys there to like, but the Twins are a team of massive interest, and it seems that that's going to be their priority for now because that has the bigger names attached. So yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, the cost for high leverage relief pitching is going to be incredibly high. It's going to be insanely high, and people are not ready for it. I think Jeff Passan mentioned that the perception is that it'll take 2 of a team's top 3 prospects, and maybe that price tag comes down, but Jesus Christ, it's bad in terms of the price. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's crazy stuff out there. So y'all be safe. Y'all be safe with that. I mean, it's going to take a lot to get. It's going to take a lot to get a top of the line reliever. I think the Yankees will try. I hope the Yankees will try, and we'll go from there. You think Escara goes? I think the Yankees are fine trading him if it gets them the right player. And I think teams will try and trade for him because I think that teams will try and get a good catcher who can help their roster if they can, despite what Yankees Twitter thinks. So, yeah. Most realistic guy they trade for, Bednar or Duran. I would say Bednar. Bednar because I think he has a higher chance of being moved. But I think the Yankees line up with the Twins really well. So I'm not fully like I'll say Bednar just because the odds of him getting moved seem a bit higher. Keller ain't doing shit for them. Yeah, he is. He's giving them a good start every fifth day. He's giving them a good start every fifth day. He's giving them quality stuff. You kind of need it. You desperately need it. Might sound crazy, but you trade Jones, Cam, maybe Jason, and probably more for Duran and Correa. I don't think the Yankees are going to trade for Carlos Correa. And yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't think he's going to be traded for Carlos Correa. Yeah, Ryan Garcia Machine's a terrible nickname. Terrible nickname. One of the worst. I'd do anything just to prevent the Dodgers from getting Duran. I would just love Jarren Duran. I think Jarren Duran would just rock. Just rocks. We'll target mid-market arms that we see upside in. Again, I mean, they could settle for it. They could. It's not out there. It's not impossible, I guess. But the Yankees are really, he's very interested in the top of that reliever market. Any chance Grisham gets moved? I think anyone's on the table. I think they'll take, talks on that, but haven't really heard anything specific there. So yeah. Is it worth getting Castro? Feels like he's an everyday third baseman, not a backup. He can play third. He can play some second. He can play some short. He can play some outfield. I think those are all things the Yankees are going to value. Will Castro provide for them? Our IL has enough company without Correa. That's funny. Is Jack on the block? No. Who do you think we need now? Relievers. Oh, Griffin Jacks. Yes, he will be someone the Yankees have talked about already, and a player who I believe the Yankees will continue to engage on. Again, the Twins going to treat this like with Duran. Don't feel a need to trade him. We'll just trade him if they have to. And they feel like they got enough for it. That's fair. How hard would it be for Volpe to fix his mechanics and shorten his swing late in the season? I think the biggest focus should be his defense. His defense has been a complete problem for the New York Yankees. It is why the infield defense has been as bad as it has been, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. So it has to get better. It has to get better if the Yankees want to get better. If we got Duran, we'd be pure lefty. I think we mean Joan Duran, not Jarren Duran. Yeah. I don't think the Yankees, I don't want Jarren Duran. I don't want to pay for Jarren Duran either. Tired man. I'm a tired man. We do a massive trade to get Duran, Castro, and Griffin Jacks. It's going to be a haul, but we need to get it. I don't think they'll get both in one deal. Based on how the Twins are acting, I don't believe so. And yeah, I think they'll try and get both. They'll try and get at least one, but it's going to be hard to do both in one trade. We have to re-sign Belly. I think he needs to be our first base. I think he needs to just be on the team. I think he's a good player. I like having Bellinger around. So we got another lefty batter. Do we think we trade one of our lefties? It's possible. I've heard that, there are players, left-handed hitters in the Yankees who might be available. And I'll also say that when it comes to fixing that balance, I think they'll try and get some right-handed guys as well. I still can't believe this pen thought it was going to be so good coming into the year. Hasn't. Injuries have killed them. Regression has killed them. So, yeah. Also, Scott Efros was packing his things currently, and Ryan McMahon is going to come up for Yorbit Vivas, it seems. So, I think the Yankees will be setting down Efros to bring up a reliever. I don't think that it will be Yerry De Los Santos. I could be wrong, but I don't think it'll be De Los Santos because he is not. Oh, it could be, but I don't think he's done his rehab assignment. Is it going to be Javier Sandridge? I'll look at who was used at the minor league level and who wasn't. Let's see. AAA. Take a look here. Okay, Harrison Cohen was used. Javier Sandridge was used. So Cohen is someone who might have came up because he's been performing really well. Sandridge is someone who's on the 40-man. It could be Cookie. That's a good point. Although, didn't he pitch recently? Did he not pitch recently? I could be wrong there. I'm going to check. Is he even on the 40-man? No, he's not. They'd have to, like, let me see. Carrasco last year on the 20th. So, yeah, he could come up. He could come up if needed. Yeah. Could be Carrasco. They could just sign in and yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Man, I thought Efros was going to be better than this. I agree. I wish. Jake Bird, don't know. What is Brian Cashman rating for the Pen to give up 20 in a game? He's trying to figure out how to make a deal. I agree that it needs to be soon. I do. I agree that it needs to be soon. So yeah. Brendan Donovan would have been perfect. My understanding is the Cardinals were not going to trade him. We'll see if that ends up holding true. So yeah. Do you think Rumfield and Pereira have any value? I think they could. Depends on the team. Depends on how their evaluation of him is. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. It can't be this difficult to trade for a reliever who can throw a scoreless inning. Look, I think there are lower level guys he should be going after and trying to at least like build up the depth of this bullpen. They need help badly. So, yeah. So that'll wrap things up here for the stream. It could be, we'll see someone come up from the lower levels of the minor leagues. I don't think it's a trade. I hope I'm wrong. And yeah, they need help. Bullpen stinks. They're looking for relievers. They might get a starter. Pitching. That is where they're at. Yeah, that is where they're at. So, yeah. Anywho, we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Hope you guys enjoy your night. I don't know why I said day, your night. And yeah, have a great rest of your night. Peace out, everyone. Check us out. Comments, description, or comment, like, subscribe. Description has all of our social pages. Handle is at Fireside Yankees. Peace out, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Didn't find the outro video. Now.
Perfect.